Please welcome our last finalist to the stage. From Nimitz High School, presenting Reheats. Please give a warm welcome to Thomas Vo.
Ladies and gentlemen, hand warmers. We love them until we don't. If you ever use one of these in your lifetime, then I can rest assure you that it only lasts 30 minutes, and after that, all the heat dissipates. Now, keeping that in mind, let me ask you this. Imagine yourself as a construction worker. You're working long hours into the night in the cold, wintry conditions. Now, from my personal experience of being construction workers, my hands would freeze up, and then so I couldn't do any type of work. And that got me thinking, I had to take the initiative. So, this is my company. Good evening. My name is Thomas, and today I present to you my company, Reheats, where the heat isn't beat. The three main problems that construction workers face with their glove is that, one, their gloves have no grip. And this can be especially dangerous if they're working in 3-story buildings, 4-story buildings, 5-story buildings, and drop tools such as wrenches and hammers. Now, dropping it from that height, even if someone below had a helmet on, it would be detrimental. And for the second thing, their gloves are way too bulky. They can't fit into tight-knit spaces such as circuit boxes, and that can really impede the flow of the work. And last of all, after long hours of usage, they'll let the cold seep through. And I know we've all worn gloves here once in our life, and your hands got clammy and cold, and that's the worst feeling in the world. Now, Reheat's mission is to provide reliable and affordable electric gloves for the construction community in the cold. Now, there are many numerous features on the gloves, such as grip, long-lasting batteries made out of nylon and cotton, nylon for the durability, cotton to regulate the temperature, and touch screen fabric. So construction workers do not have to take their gloves off when they're on break. Now, the special thing about the glove is it's made of 3 layers: soft fabric, imported heating wire, and last but not least, waterproof. So even if it's raining, snowing, you're sweating, you dip your hand in water, that's really no problem at all. And on the right, you can see me making the gloves at home. And Reheats is also researching and producing a prototype for electric insoles. That's right, electric insoles for your feet. And the best thing about this is you don't even have to charge them. The insoles utilizes mechanical energy. So every time you walk, this would charge the battery integrated into the insoles, insole producing heat. Isn't that neat, y'all? Now, the revenue of the construction industry is of $2.5 trillion. That's right, T-trillion. Now, this employs millions upon millions of workers. If that's not a viable market, I don't know what is. Now, where I'm from, DFW area, there is 20,000 active construction workers. But let's focus on where we are right now, New York City. In New York City, there's 40,000 active construction workers. They make around $30,000 to $40,000 annually, getting paid on a bi-weekly basis and really only buy new equipment when it's broken. So meaning that they value high quality and comfort, and that is what Reheats is and always will be. Reheats has a monthly advertising budget of $300, and that is spanned across many different platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, our own business card, and Google Ads, with the first month having 2,000 monthly impressions, followed up by the second month, 6,000 monthly impressions. Now, competitive analysis, Reheats has 2 competitors, NiceDeck and Akaso. Reheats has 3 different modes, low, medium, high on the gloves, as seen here in this prototype. We also have a usage time of 8 to 12 hours, while NiceDeck only has 3 to 4 hours. And let me ask you this. Do you know anyone that's working 3 to 4 hour shifts? No, especially not in the construction industry. And Reheats also has a very slim design. So as mentioned before, we can fit into tight-knit spaces, while NiceDeck and Akaso has bulky design. We don't want that. And Reheats has both grip and touchscreen. Isn't that neat? Well, NiceDeck only has the touchscreen portion. Now, for my qualification, I am a finalist. I've taken many marketing courses and business courses. But for my best qualification is how Reheats even came to life. I work construction with my dad and my uncle. We work anything from roofing all the way to fencing. And during the summer, that is A-okay. But when the season changes and winter comes around, it gets really cold. And just being out there for 30 minutes to an hour really freezes your hands, and so you can't really do anything. So I took the initiative to make this company Reheats. Now, The definition of 1 unit is a pair of electric heated gloves. I am selling it for $80 a unit. It takes $27.38 to produce it. Now, this is including variable materials, labor costs, shipping, handling, and everything like that. That makes our contribution margin out to $52.62. And to break even monthly, we need to sell 64 units. But I can assure you I can bring this down to only 32 units a month if we can base our operations overseas, factory-wise. Now, for our current status, I have completed 2 prototypes, with the one in my hand being the second, latest, newest, improved one. And we have a marketing plan, our target market plan, and for our future aspirations. We plan to mass produce this and sell in physical stores such as Lowe's and Home Depot, since right now we're strictly online since the pandemic. We also want to make a prototype for the insoles, which I can assure you, we are very close in doing so. And down the line, in 1, 2, or 3 years, I plan to expand my company into clothing lines. So shirts, shorts, jackets, pants, on top of the gloves and insoles. Who doesn't want to feel warm and fuzzy during the winter time? Now, come out, get yourself a pair of electric heated gloves for yourself, for your family, mom, dad, neighbor, your whole neighborhood, your whole village. Why not? This is my this is my company, Reheats, where the heat isn't beat. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All right, this is our last question and answer session. Judges, you've got 5 minutes.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
You mentioned that the average salary of a construction worker is $30,000 to $40,000. So $80 seems pricey. But have you considered other industries? I'm thinking skiing or athletics. I mean, I run a lot. I would love a pair of gloves that kept my hands warm. So I'm just wondering why you focused on construction given the very low salaries versus high cost.
I am so glad you asked that question. I'm an avid skier myself, so nice to meet you. I designed this glove on the basis that it's durable, high quality, and on the market right now, we are the cheapest. $80 is pretty affordable, since other companies, they're selling it for $130, $150, and construction workers, even as May, that they have low wages, they value high quality. So if a glove can last them 3, 4, 5 years, they will spend the money. And for the skiing, for my secondary market is skiers, such as myself and yourself. That's why I designed the touchscreen fabric, so you don't have to take your gloves off during the mountain, because I know when we ski, we take it off, up there is freezing, and we turn our hands into ice picks. So that's really where the basis of it comes from.
So I really like this. I mean, I live in California, so I don't necessarily know that I'll be able to use them. Don't. But here's the thing. I would be curious to know, did you consider potentially going B2B such that you sell to those construction companies, right? You mentioned hammers falling and things like that. That could be huge liabilities for those companies, and they don't necessarily want to take on the burden of one of their workers injuring themselves and or someone else. So would you consider even upping the price and selling to those types of companies, and then they give them away to their workers such that they can avoid any lawsuits and have more productive workforce?
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I was thinking of selling it to the companies also, but more right now, I'm targeted more towards the individual, so it can be cheaper for them. So that's really, yeah.
I can go. Okay. Congrats. This is awesome. Very exciting. And super cool physical product. I had a question on distribution. So you talked a little bit about your future plans are to sell in Home Depot. Do you also intend to do direct to consumer, online? Like, tell us a little bit more about your distribution plans.
So, thank you again. Glad you asked the question. So, I'm still going to keep it on my website online, but as I mentioned before, a year, 2 years, I plan to sell into physical stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, and that would really increase my sales, like projected by 100%.
Thank you.
Fantastic presentation. I love the idea. Me coming from California and living in New York for the last 22 years, my hands get cold all the time, so I definitely will be a customer.
This is perfect for you.
Yes, exactly. Now, my question had to do with the marketing plan and amplification. Like you said, you were spending, I think, $300 a month. I was wondering, how does that actually proliferate, and have you seen like returns, or do you see that if you spend $300 the next month that you get less client acquisition? Or
So Spending $300 spanning across multiple platforms, so we make posts on these platforms, and the money that we spend on the advertising, they put out in front of consumers. So when I talk about the 2,000 monthly impressions to the 6,000 monthly impressions, so I kind of moved around the money a little bit. Maybe I put $60 into Facebook this month. I put $30 into Facebook this other month. So I'm still figuring out which social media is the best.
Great.
So Thomas, what the judges are not telling you, by the way, you did great.
Thank
What
you.
they're not telling you is that we had a very robust discussion before coming out here about weather and where we all live and the
Yeah.
pros and cons. So your product is very much in line with our conversation before it
Thank
came
you.
out. I am curious though, what is the next logical product that would follow the glove?
I'm so glad you asked that. It's the, as I mentioned before, is the insole. So right now I'm currently researching how I'm going to implement or utilize the mechanical energy. So as I mentioned before, I want to integrate the battery into the insole. So every time you walk, this would charge the battery, and so producing the heat. And so research is, coming along nicely. You can expect the insoles in about half a year to a year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Excellent job.
Great job.
Great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.